Performance energy has never dimmed, and for Cher, that is clearly something she finds deeply compelling and attractive. When you think of Cher, you think of a force of nature. She's been a star for over 6 decades, a woman who has seen it all and done it all. She shared the stage with legends and defined entire eras of music and fashion. So when a star of that magnitude, now at 79, decides to open up about the artist who made her heart flutter, you have to stop and listen. This isn't just gossip. It's a fascinating look into the personal side of a very public life, a collection of moments where even the great Cher was just a fan, just a woman feeling that undeniable spark of attraction. It's a reminder that no matter how famous you become, the heart wants what it wants. The first name on her list is one that might surprise you, but it also makes perfect sense when you think about it. She confessed to having a major thing for the king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley. Now, Cher was coming up in the 60s, and Elvis was already this monumental, almost mythical figure in music. She said there was just something about him, that raw, untamable energy he had on stage. It wasn't just his looks, though he was certainly handsome. It was the sheer power of his presence. He was the original rebel, the man who changed everything, and for a young artist like Cher, that was an incredibly magnetic and attractive force to be around. But her admiration wasn't just from afar. Their paths actually crossed in a very real way. She and Sonny knew Elvis. They move in some of the same circles in Los Angeles. She's spoken about being at parties where he was present, feeling that incredible charisma firsthand. Imagine being in your 20s and having Elvis Presley smile at you across a room. She said he had this charm, this Southern gentleman quality mixed with that rock and roll swagger that was just completely disarming. It was a crush born from proximity to greatness, a genuine attraction to the man who embodied the very spirit of the music that shaped her own career. Moving into a completely different musical realm, Cher also revealed a deep attraction to the soulful legend Marvin Gaye. Now, if Elvis was raw rock and roll power, Marvin Gaye was pure, smooth, soulful intensity. She spoke about his voice, how it wasn't just a sound, but a feeling. It was a voice that could convey heartbreak, passion, and social consciousness all in one note. For Cher, an artist who has always valued powerful vocalists and emotional delivery, Marvin Gaye represented the pinnacle of soulful expression. He wasn't just singing songs, he was bearing his soul. She mentioned that what attracted her to Marvin was his depth. He was a complicated, thoughtful artist who was constantly pushing boundaries, both musically and personally. Albums like What's Going On showed a man deeply engaged with the world, a man of substance. Cher has always been drawn to strength and complexity, and Marvin Gaye had that in spades. There was a mystery to him, a beautiful sadness that she found utterly captivating. It was an attraction to the artist and the man, a fascination with a profound emotional world he seemed to inhabit and so beautifully shared through his music. Then we come to a name that perhaps is the most iconic of her confessions, Robert Plant, the golden god of Led Zeppelin. This is the crush that feels almost like a rock and roll fairy tale. In the early 1970s, Led Zeppelin was the biggest band in the world, and Robert Plant was their charismatic, lion-maned frontman, a whirlwind of energy and primal screams. Cher confessed that she was completely smitten with him. She loved his wild, almost feral stage presence, his powerful voice, and that untamable rock star persona he perfected. The fascinating part of this story is that this wasn't just a one-sided celebrity crush. The feeling was reportedly mutual. Robert Plant was also very taken with Cher. There are even famous stories about them dating for a brief, fiery moment in time. Imagine the two of them together, Cher with her bold, glamorous style and Robert with his denim and curls, a collision of two different but equally powerful musical worlds. It was a connection based on a shared understanding of superstardom, a mutual attraction between two giants who recognized that same immense energy in each other. Another rock legend that caught her eye was the enigmatic Jimi Hendrix. She spoke about his incredible talent, of course, calling him a pure genius with a guitar. But her attraction went beyond just his musical ability. She was drawn to his style, his vibe. Hendrix was unlike anyone else. He created his own universe. He was flamboyant, psychedelic, and completely original in every way, from his fashion to his sound. For Cher, who has always been a trailblazer in her own right when it comes to style, that kind of fearless individuality was incredibly appealing. She recalled seeing him perform, just being mesmerized by the entire experience. It wasn't just a concert, it was an event. Hendrix on stage was a whirlwind of sound and motion, a man completely possessed by his art. Cher appreciated that level of commitment, that total surrender to performance. She found him beautiful and magnetic in his uniqueness. In many ways, Hendrix represented the ultimate artist, completely free and unbounded by convention. And that freedom was a powerful and attractive force to a young Cher finding her own path in a world of rules. The final confession in this first chapter brings us to another British rock icon, Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones. This one feels almost inevitable. Mick Jagger's relentless energy and charismatic stage swagger have been captivating audiences and fellow artists for over half a century. Cher spoke about his undeniable presence. It's that Jagger magic, the lips, the moves, the confidence. He commands a stage like few others, and Cher, a master performer herself, could not help but be drawn to that raw, theatrical power. Their lives have been intertwined for decades, running in the same social scenes. She knows him well, and her attraction seems to be based on a long-standing admiration for his professionalism and his enduring star quality. He's a survivor, just like her. She sees in him a kindred spirit, someone who understands the grind and the glory of a lifelong career in the spotlight. The attraction to Mick Jagger isn't just about a moment in time. It's an appreciation for a fellow warrior of rock and roll, a man who's... Now, the second chapter of Cher's Confessions takes us a little deeper. It moves beyond the rock gods and stage personas to reveal attractions that were often more personal, more nuanced, and deeply connected to the soul. These aren't just tales of rock and roll crushes. These are stories about connections that touched her heart and challenged her mind. They show a different side of Cher, one that values artistry on a profoundly personal level and seeks a meeting of not just hearts, but of intellect and creative spirit. The first name here is a powerful one, David Bowie. Cher confessed to being utterly fascinated by him, and who wasn't? But for her, it was about more than the androgynous glamour or the alien aesthetics. She was drawn to his brilliant, chameleon-like mind. Bowie was a constant evolution, artist who refused to be defined or pinned down. He was Ziggy Stardust, the thin white duke, a forever-changing icon. For Cher, who has reinvented herself more times than we can count, this was the ultimate attraction. She saw in Bowie a mirror of her own restless creative spirit. She spoke about their conversations, how incredibly intelligent and well-read he was. The attraction was intensely intellectual. He was someone she could talk to for hours about art, philosophy, and life. He wasn't just a performer. He was a visionary. That mental connection, the challenge of engaging with such a brilliant and unique mind, was for Cher incredibly seductive. It was an attraction built on a foundation of mutual respect for the art of transformation and a shared understanding that an artist's true power lies in their ability to constantly become someone new. Then we have what many might consider the great love of her life, and a man she was undoubtedly powerfully attracted to, Gregg Allman of the Allman Brothers Band. This confession is different from all the others because this was real, deep, complicated love. She didn't just fancy Gregg Allman, she married him.